I'm Walt Woods. My talk this afternoon will be, the last two-thirds of it will be on genes, how to manipulate genes, and a little bit about how they work and so on. Over in England, homeopathic medicine ranks almost equal with allopathic, partly because the royal family respect it and use it when it's appropriate, and that's the way it should be. But what happens is that the professors at the universities, and in this particular case we're talking about Madeline Eanes, who's professor of immunopharmacology at Queen's University in Belfast, she was very vocal about that it was very silly for anybody to think that one molecule of a medicine could do anything. So what they did was, they asked her if she'd be part of a multi-center European study to look at the effects of high dilution solutions well into the homeopathic range. And of course she jumped at that opportunity. Here was her chance to prove that she was right. Okay. Now, what they decided to do is use basophils, which is a white cell involved in your inflammation. And this is something that is agreed with biologists the world over. What happens is if you have an allergic reaction, if you have a pollen get in your nose, your eyes, your throat, and if it starts overwhelming your immune system, what it does then is send the basophils, they're one of the white cells in your body, to that site. The basophils then put out histamine. The histamine causes the cells to secrete fluid. The fluid dams up where the site is and also washes it away. But if you put too much histamine there, you would damage the cell. If you don't have enough histamine, then it's not going to work. So they have a thermostat. And so they adjust the amount of histamine to exactly match the cell situation. And they'll bring it up to a certain level and it'll stop producing it. And then as it comes back down, when it gets to the lower level of the thermostat, they start producing it again. And so what they did was that they wanted to use these basophils to check against pollen. Now here's what we did. Here's what they did. And they picked 4 separate research centers, and they sent each one of them some of these solutions. But let me show you how they got the solutions first here. Homeopathic amounts to this. You put some of the compound into a solvent and dissolve it, usually in 100 cc's. And if you're doing it with some chemicals, you put 1 molar and 100 cc's of solution. 1 molar in chemistry means the atomic weight of that atom. But what they probably did here was they just put in a small amount. And then they percussion against the wall. And when you're doing this, you're expecting it to increase potency. Take 1 cc of that, put it into the next one, and then you percussion again. Another one. Now, and the further down you get, the more powerful it gets because you're adding thought forms in the process. And if you were to take this amount of compound and just put it in a big barrel of solution, it won't work. They've tried it. You need to go through this percussion process or a program thing in a factory that does the same thing. So that's the way you get your homeopathic medicine. What they wanted to do, here's the way they worked it. This was in her lab, and they had made a homeopathic solution using their water, their solution, their equipment, everything. She had total control. And they had, the other one was pure water that was untreated, and this is water's treated. Then what they did was divide those up and send them out to these 4 different labs. And they were done on basically a double-blind situation. The people receiving them didn't even know what it was all about. All they knew was that they were numbered, And I might add that they did thousands of these.